Today you're going to learn a little bit more about grading, and I actually have a personal experience with Beckett that I wanted to share with you. We wanted to go to Beckett and actually grade them in person. We actually even got inspired by one of our friends, Alex Hodges. So there's a little bit of a backstory on some of the cards that we sent. We actually had these two Weiss Schwarz cards from the Batman Ninja set. Now, you might even see some of them behind me. I actually have one of the graded ones here. I'm not gonna share it with you yet. That would spoil the fun. I've enjoyed Batman since I was a kid, so I actually even have a personal connection to why I wanted to go take those to Beckett. And Weiss cards are kind of in their infancy for grading, so being one of the first people to do that with this set specifically was also somewhat enticing. Another card was a Mothman from the first edition Metazoo Cryptid Nation set. I've actually opened up a few boxes and never got an actual Mothman Holo, so felt it was good to get one of those since it's such a hot set, and honestly, who knows where Metazoo's going to go in the future. The other two cards we had were actually ones that we were going to cross over from two different other grading companies. We went to PSA and we went with CGC. The first one is a Carddass Checklist card from the original vending series in Japan for Pokemon. This card is one of the rarest of that set, and it's honestly one of my favorite cards I own. We sent that checklist card to PSA, assuming it was going to get something relatively high. So to my surprise, it came back and it was a 6. I want to see the subgrades with Beckett. That's something that they provide and something that is valuable as a collector. And if you're trying to invest or sell the cards or anything like that, it's very important to get as much information as you can get. So the other one is just a Pikachu VMAX that we actually went through CGC. CGC did the subgrades, and their subgrades were 210s and 295s. There's always that gray area with graders. So what I wanted to do is see if maybe we can get one more 10 on that subgrade, get that pristine 10 on that Pikachu. That's a personal card that I really like and my kids like. If you're trying to flip it, spending all the money on grading on a $20 card or something might not be the best idea in terms of an investment. But you spend your money the way you want on the things that you love. The experience was really, really cool. I went with my wife and kids. It was really fun. They got to enjoy the experience with Dad while he talked to Ian. Ian McDeary's is one of the TCG experts there at Beckett. I talked to him a little bit and he kind of explained the crossover process and the grading process that Beckett has.
These Weiss cards look so cool. Like, I'm pretty privy to the trial deck cards just for how rare they are, because it's it's like one in every 40 trial decks or something insane. Like, they're really hard to come by. Like all Weiss cards, they have a really good shot. I mean, Bushy Red does such a good job with their quality control. Definitely high grade potential for sure from what I've seen.
So I've got these two crossovers. One, this was so close to a 10, I thought it was worth it to have you guys look at.
Right.
Like, how is there not a bias when you already see these numbers here? How do you not just assume it's that one?
As far as when we approach these cards, so we're gonna approach them like they are a raw card and try and be as unbiased towards what the grade is. You see those grades and it's kind of hard not to just be like, oh, hey, here's a 9.5. In the case of your PSA 6 here, so for us, the way we'll approach it is we're gonna see, okay, it's a 6. First, we're gonna go looking, why is this a 6? What's the issue with this card? If we don't see anything, then it's potential obviously to go up. Since every company is a little different on our grading scale, what may be a 6 for PSA could either be a 7 for us or a 5 for us. It's all gonna be in that subjective category at that point. And then similar concept with the CGC, looking for the 9, or why this surface got a 9.5, why the centering's a 9.5. The importance of approaching with like a higher grade card, we do have a certain Beckett standard in place. So normally our 9.5s are gem mints, and 10s for us are also pristine. So we're also gonna look at this and make sure that their 10s are gonna line up with ours. There is a chance that your grade could be lower, like we may see something that they maybe didn't catch, and it could actually be a 9 versus a 10 kind of thing. There is a bit of a safety valve on that, so when you submit to us, you can always put minimum grades. If you submit this and you're like, I want a BGS 10, if you wanna do something like that, you have to crack it out on your own, and then it's at your own risk. But for this current grade, yeah, you can say I want a minimum grade 9.5 to like balance it, and then we'll see if it follows along our what we consider in our standards.
Okay.
For one, you didn't know why this card got a 6, so this gives you that clarity, a little bit more peace of mind. We'll be able to provide subgrades for you, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, if there is an issue, this is what it was, kind of thing. And then on this one, since like we were talking about, yeah, it is so close to being a potential 10, just having that extra shot at getting, you know, a potentially higher grade brings a lot of value.
As a collector, like imagine yourself walking in with a card that you love, going in to a place that has so much history, regardless of what you think about the collectors, regardless of whether you think about subgrading or grading in general. It's like kind of walking into Yankee Stadium, but for the card world. It's a really cool experience, and we're really grateful to be able to do that. Obviously, I also want to know the grades. So Ian brings in the box, we open it up, just a cool experience to do that in their offices. So I will start with the Mothman first. We got a 9 on that Mothman. So you have to think about how many different factors go into eBay. Somebody pulls something, they say it's clean. They might not have a whole lot of information on that, but it still came back a 9. So whether they got it from a third party or they got it themselves, we still got a relatively high grade. You want to know what those Batman cards are? That was my biggest thing. I'm like, all the cards we got, these were the biggest things. This is more personal. We pulled the Batman Auto from one box that we purchased on eBay. So one box.
I honestly will buy for you.
Oh! Oh!
Oh! Is that a signature?
Dude! I think it's like $400 or $500 raw right now. I know in the Weiss community, a lot of it is focused on actually playing the game versus the collector space, but I know that the collector space seems to be growing. But regardless of that, I want it graded just because I love the card and I love Batman. So that first one, we got a 9.5, which again, I think the pop, very low pop report, I'll put it up on the screen because it's going to be different. But at that time, I think there was only the second one that was actually graded a 9.5. So we're really excited about that. The biggest thing of all of this was the card that I actually showed you earlier was this guy. That is a BGS 10. This was the only one of these cards actually graded, period. No 1 through 9 5s, only card actually graded. If you had the only BGS 10 Charizard, you'd be pretty excited about it too. Now, between that and the time that I'm recording now, there has been one other 10 of this pulled. Let's talk about the 2 crossovers now. The first crossover was that Pokemon Carddass card. That came back a 7.5, and you can clearly see the surface is what dinged it, but the rest of that card is really, really high. I encourage you all, when you're gonna start like grading and stuff, look at certain aspects of this. So where I messed up before when I sent it to PSA was missing that little surface thing. So I might have really just overlooked it because I wanted it to be good. So you always gotta make sure that it's not just what you want, but what it actually is. So the other thing that was even interesting and actually really cool was that Pikachu came back a 10. Subjectivity on grades is big. That's why they have crossovers. That's why sometimes you can be Logan Paul and get a BGS 10 Charizard. So overall, my experience with Beckett was a very positive one. You don't have to go in there again expecting I'm gonna get 2 black labels. If you're trying to get a black label Beckett, everything's gotta be a 10. Like I said, this has 195 on it, still a 10. Like a black label 10 is what everybody is chasing. Weiss cards have better print runs and have better chances of getting high grades like this. I went in there for the experience. I wanted to walk into such a historical place and share that with you. The grades are great, but the fact that just going into Beckett, meeting people that work there, getting to walk in with my cards and walk out with them graded is an experience that I'm going to remember for a long time. Hope you had a good time hearing about my experience, and I hope you can have an experience like that as well. Drop a comment, obviously, if you have any thoughts or questions about the process. Just make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so hopefully you actually see my videos when they pop up, and we will see you in the next video.